Good evening, everybody. Good evening. All right. Welcome to the kickoff for the National Black Love Festival 2016. Sister Lucy is about to give us an introduction.
We who believe in justice cannot rest. We who believe in justice cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in justice cannot rest. We who believe in justice cannot rest until it comes. That which touches me most, I had a chance to work with people, passing on to others that which was passed on to me. We who believe in justice cannot rest. We who believe in justice cannot rest. You got to sing your part so I can sing my part. We who believe in justice cannot rest. We who believe in justice cannot rest until it comes. Not needing to clutch for power, not needing for the light just to shine on me. I need to be just one in the number as we stand against tyranny. We who believe in justice cannot rest. We who believe in justice cannot rest until it comes. I'm a woman who speaks in a voice, and I must be heard. Sometimes I can be quite difficult. I'll bow to no man's word. We who believe in justice cannot rest. We who believe in justice cannot rest until it comes. Last time. We who believe in justice cannot rest. We who believe in justice cannot rest until it comes. Thank you for joining me.
Okay, welcome. Welcome. Please give Sister Lucy Murphy one more hand. My name is Kimon Freeman, one half of We Act Radio, and we founded the Black Love Festival in 1997 at Fort DuPont Amphitheater. It was our effort to try to address the commercialization of our culture. Since 1997, we've seen the demise, because part of gentrification side effects would be also not just the erasure of black communities, but also erasure of our cultural institutions. Since 1997, we have seen the demise of the Black Family Reunion. And as I say their names, can you say Ashe? Because they're gone. The Black Family Reunion. Ashe. Stone Soul Picnic. Ashe. Unifest. Ashe. Caribbean Day Parade. Ashe. Georgia Avenue Day. Ashe. What am I missing? It's Malcolm X Day. Ashe. Anacostia Festival. There was a U Street Festival. It's now known as the Funk Parade. It's a little funky. Yeah. So having said that, there are people who are allies in this fight for equitable economic development. I wanted to make sure that they was present in the room because it's very important that we don't become that which we detest, which means that we are generalizing, assuming, accusing, and making judgment just because of the way someone looks. We need to make sure that we understand that everyone deserves an examination, and their behavior should determine their actions or how we feel about those actions. So I want to make sure that was made aware. One of the allies in the fight for equitable economic development is Scott Kratz, who is with 11th Street Bridge Project. Please give him a round of applause. Scott, don't let me put words in your mouth. If you like to come up here and say anything, you're more than welcome. But I would say this, is that the project he has undertaken is to build a bridge, not a wall, but to build a bridge and to join Easter River with the rest of the city. That is an honorable thing. And it's an art project where he is making sure that we have a walkable community, which is a green community. For those who do not know, there's some history with transportation. Racism permeates every aspect of our lives. They'll make bridges too low so public transportation can't get through there to further segregate that area, for example. I wanted to make sure that his work was recognized, and the 11th Street Bridge Project is looked at what it is, a bridge that's joining us with the rest of the city. So that means that we should be treated like the rest of the city. Unfortunately, the rest of the city thinks that certain members of our community are dispensable and disposable, basically. And so what we are doing is launching a fight called displacement-free zones. What we want to do is ensure that the people who've been here get to stay here. And because of that project, and also I would like to say at the other end of Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Avenue, we have the Wizard Stadium and what have you that's coming there. These are anchor institutions that could create massive displacement for the last frontier of development in the city. So it's imperative that we become actively involved with determining not only our policy, but also our destiny, because we understand that change is inevitable, but rather simply than continue to go through the change, we have chosen the path to direct that change. And this is a call to arms to do just that. Also, I would like to acknowledge Stan Votri, a developer. I said it, developer. Everyone give Stan Votri from 4 points a round of applause. Stan Votri and I actually bumped heads when we first met, and that sometimes is the best relationship because you've been completely honest with each other. And since that time, we have done a TED Talk, if you will, and you can check that out on our YouTube channel. If you are not already subscribing to We Act Radio YouTube channel, if you're not always following us on Facebook and Twitter and what have you, as you should, you can see that. I think in about 7 or 8 minutes, I think we laid a real concrete case for equitable economic development. I urge everyone to check that out. And I hope that everyone has their phone in their hands or pen and paper ready, because this is the most important thing you can walk out of here in terms of information. There's a book called Streets of Hope. It is subtitled The Fall and Rise of an Urban Neighborhood. It tells a story in South Bend, Boston, and Roxbury, and how they was disposable, and how they was irregarded by their city. And it tells a story how they was able to take over their community, removing blight from the community, put a leash on gentrification in their communities. And they did so through community land trusts. They did so through co-ops. And these are things that our city planners are not going to bring to the table for our benefit, primarily because most of the city planners, diversity-wise, do not reflect the cities that they are serving and planning for. All right, so these are things that we need to be cognizant of. So again, that is Streets of Hope, the rise and fall of urban neighborhoods. That is the Bible that will create the blueprint that we need to ensure that we get to stay here and enjoy the fruits of our labors. As Michelle Obama so controversially said, she wakes up in a house built by slaves. Unfortunately, it took 200 years for somebody that looked like us to move into that building. Okay, so we're here to support the fact that the Black Love Festival is happening. I want to make sure that some of my strategic partners was here to understand that when we say Black Lives Matter, that does not denigrate any other group. It's just basically saying that we have calls for justice and there's inequality in this country. There's no equal justice under the law. And I think that the work that's been done in the name of Black Lives Matter is honorable, and we should be able to say that unequivocally. There's an article on our Facebook page on We Act Radio. Currently about, I can't call her name, I was looking on my phone, sorry, so I can look at my Facebook page right now on We Act Radio. But she's a children's book author, and she had a strip that was denouncing racism. And she's losing money and fans and being attacked for how dare you introduce racism into children's stories. This is a white woman who is losing money on our behalf, and I think she needs to be supported and applauded. So I just want to make sure that we understand that when we say Black Lives Matter, it's not anti-police, it's not anti-anything. It's about justice. And for those who are naysayers and say, well, why aren't you concerned about black-on-black violence? Okay, when Pookie kills somebody in our community and the killer is known, they go to jail. We are only asking for the same thing to be applied to police officers, okay? That is all we're doing. So I want you to walk out here with your head saying you can say Black Lives Matter to someone that may not look like you. And I think that we need to personalize this movement. That's what this is about, personalizing this movement, because obviously what we've done thus far has not worked, including having a black president and 2 black attorney generals. What we need to do is make this a personal movement, meaning when you go spend your money, knowing that that's who you're giving your power to, you should ask them, how do you feel about Black Lives Matter? Well, I don't have an opinion about that. Okay, thank you, and go somewhere else with your money. Who are you banking with? Who are you giving your money to is who you give your power to. City First Bank sponsored this event. Please give City First Bank a round of applause. It was very bold of them to do that. It was very bold for them to publicly support a Black Love Festival tribute to Black Lives Matter. I want to acknowledge that because we need, recently with Industrial Bank, DC's only black-owned financial institution, the Move Your Money campaign has resulted in $2.7 million at least moved from multinational corporations into small community banks. That is part of what we need to do. We cannot become that which we detest and support their same institutions that are working against our best interests. Okay, so I want to introduce our committee for the 2016 Black Love Festival happening on September 18th. Unfortunately, City First Bank cannot bankroll this event at the level that it deserves to be promoted as. It means we don't have $50,000 to bring in a headline act and 20,000 people. But we do have enough to do something, and hence our motto. So that's what we're here to do. What we're asking everyone here to do is to support those efforts by yourself doing something. Again, personalize the movement. What can you do? You can take flyers. If you put up a poster. You can also, we have an online campaign that we're launching today, and I will share that with you at the end of the presentation. And hopefully everyone can go to it. We're also honoring people who have stuck their neck out for Black Lives Matter. I wish I had known about the sister I alluded to, the child's author, earlier. But we have a few people that we currently want to honor, and this nominees are open poll for voting. So we want everybody to do that vote today. I'm going to announce that lyric as well. We have a video we're going to show, but before I do that, I want to introduce the existing committee members. I'm only going to name the ones who are here. Now please stand up when I call your name. Jamil Muhammad. Round of applause. George Kerr. Samantha Page Davis. Sharetta Benjamin. I got it right. And coming to the stage, because she's been doing so much work on the behalf of the community, because those who do not know, one of the greatest symbols of the civil rights movement, if you don't know, has always been the water fountains. And when I was 9 years old, my grandmother told me that they was going to make us pay for that. And I told her I didn't get what she was saying. I said, well, Grandma, water is free. Why would anyone pay for water? So she was right in 2 ways. One, you see what we're paying for water. And then 2, now we've seen the demise of public water fountains, the demise of the confidence in the public water supply, and lead in those that's left. And she's been fighting for those who don't know, DC water crisis. There's a DC water crisis because there's lead water in almost every DC public school in this city, and there's linked to violence and learning disabilities. I would like to introduce you another Black Love Festival committee member, Latricia Adams.
My name is Latricia Adams. I'm the president and founder of a social movement called Black Millennials for Flint. We are extremely young. We actually were founded in this year, February 2016. It started out as an initiative from Thursday Network, which is the Young Professionals Auxiliary of the Greater Washington Urban League. So we welcome you to join this movement. I'll share some social media outlets where you can connect with us. So when we think about these two names, Freddie Gray and Corinne Gaines, the first thing that we think about is police brutality. But before we even get to police brutality and how their lives were ended so quickly, we have to think about lead. Both of those individuals were the victims of lead poisoning. Lead poisoning is not just a Flint issue. So a lot of times people get confused with our organization being called Millennials for Flint, but actually lead is an issue that plagues Black and brown communities all across our country. Environmental injustices is a hidden killer, specifically in African American and Latino communities. With the rise of the Flint water crisis touching headlines all over the country, the spotlight on injustice with water quality has made the blind see. Before there was Flint, there was DC, there was Baltimore, there was a plethora of other cities across the country that so happened to be Black and brown. Please know that lead is not just in water. Lead can be found in the paint that's in low-income housing, as well as soil, the very soil that our children play in. Dating back to the early 2000s, Dr. Mark Edwards blew the whistle on the grave concerns of lead contamination in DC water, but unfortunately, there was not an immediate call to action by DC government. Although, interestingly enough, as we've seen lead to resurface back in 2016, DC government responded a little bit quicker. Could it possibly be that some of the very schools, as we see DC looking a little bit different and transitioning a bit from Chocolate City to a little bit more quote unquote diverse, where we see schools such as Capitol Hill Montessori that has an overwhelming amount of lead contamination in water, but those children look completely different than the children who are in Ward 8, who also experience that same lead contamination in their schools and public facilities. So, do Black lives matter? Do we only care when they look a little bit different? Because of that question being unanswered, or maybe it is answered, we must unite together and make this a public health issue. Lead should not be in our water. This is definitely a concern that is shared not just in DC, not in Flint, not just in Baltimore, but everywhere where our water is in danger. So we as social justice advocates, teachers, community organizers, parents, clergymen, everybody, we have to unite together to fight against environmental injustice. It may not be spoken about in great number, like some of the other injustices that we see in the media, but we have to bring this on the forefront. I implore you this evening to join with us or any other environmental organization to focus on lead and other environmental issues that are plaguing our Black and brown communities. You can follow us on Twitter at Black Millennials for Flint, and we also have a Facebook page as well as a website at www.blackmillennialsforflint, and that's the number 4.org. Thank you.
Short and sweet. Mostly short. The illustrator I alluded to, her name is Mary Engelbright. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. The children's illustrator who's been attacked for promoting anti-racist views in her work and losing money as a result of that. Name is Mary Engelbright. Okay. I want to make sure I make the statement correctly. How can art and creative expression be a part of holistic community development east of the river? There's a project I'm alluding to. It's from, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, Gill, G-E-H-L, Jill or Gill, Making Cities for People. They have a project, this is a San Francisco company, who is working with the Office of City Planning here in DC, and they came into my office looking for a ghetto pass to find some tastemakers in our community who would want to participate in creating artwork that will address the issue of equitable economic development. So as a call for all artists, all right? I only have one copy, okay? Because good news, unfortunately, does not travel fast. I'm sharing this information with you. How can art and creative expression be a part of holistic community development in Ward 7 and Ward 8? You can send your ideas by August the 14th, so you have 3 days to act upon this information. They're offering $5,000 for projects. And what they're doing is they have identified 2 locations. One of them is on Minnesota and Benning Road. And what they want to do is do pop-up art that you feel represents the best of our city, makes that neighborhood more inviting, and maybe inform the people that live in that area. Of course, I'm be submitting one, but it's enough for about a dozen artists. So I hope that someone in the room would like to get more information. If unfortunately the speaker that was supposed to represent this today was unable to attend. Today is her birthday, and her husband is taking her out. So I apologize for that. Originally, I had someone to speak to individual artists about this to answer your questions. But you can get more information if anyone wants the information now. Of course, you can go to our Facebook event page, or you can email Evelyn Kasongo. That's Evelyn, Evelyn, period, Kasongo, Kasongo, at dc.gov. And her number is 202-442-7613. Again, it's Evelyn.Kasongo at dc.gov, 202-442-7613. And I think, I hope it's Jill or Gil, Making Cities for People. I've researched them. I'm hearing good things. I hope we get a lot of proposals out of the very artists in this room. All right? And you have until August the 14th to submit that. Okay? Now, other sponsors that I want to acknowledge, please give them a round of applause, is also LISC, L-I-S-C, DC, who it has a $50 million grant to, thank you, LISC. They're here to buffer gentrification as a result of the development that we know is coming east of the river. So also very brave of them to support this project. And also the nonprofit Social Art and Culture, please give them a round of applause. And even React Radio, because since I'm only half of React Radio, I have a business partner that is is also worthy of being acknowledged for sticking his neck out for working with me and these projects. So React Radio, please. Now, for those who don't know, my business partner is Alex Lawson. He's the executive director of Social Security Works. Social Security Works has produced his book. For those who do not know, the right-wing elements of this country has been attacking Social Security because they've been trying to privatize that money. There is in charter schools, utility companies, all of this is an effort to privatize, own, and make money off of our public resources, from water on down, okay? So we are going to be launching a fundraiser tonight. If anyone makes a contribution, you will get this book for free as a thank you gift. If you, I want everybody to be honest. Close your eyes, and think of the first word to come to your mind. Blank, don't read. Just keep it to yourself. But if you'd like to, this is a thank you gift, and should you not care to read it, I urge you to give it to an elder or someone soon to be an elder, because if you want to collect Social Security in 20 years or in 30 years, this is going to arm you to make that fight. In other words, we all have to do. Okay, so this is our thank you gifts. Shout out to Social Security Works. Okay, we just have a 5-minute video I want to show. It's from our Marion Barry Summer Youth Employment Program. Please give them a round of applause. They was organized from the DC Commission. If you're in the hallway, you can come on in. It's all family, and you also can help yourself to drinks next door, and we'll be opening the food table up as soon as this video is played. We didn't get funded this year because I normally have about 20 young people. This year I only had 4. And 2 of them are here with me. One of them is not getting paid right now. And so that should let you know their dedication with working with us. But they spent the summer producing this video. I had nothing to do with the contents of this video other than giving them my suggestions after them showing me something. They edited it. They researched it, they produced it. And I'm very proud of the work they did. So as soon as they find it, Black Panther Party, We Act Radio, we'll play that. It's a 5-minute clip, and then we could adjourn. But while we have a few moments, I want to acknowledge my brother in the room, and I would like you to come up, please, Diallo, please. Give Diallo Sunbury a hand. Diallo Sunbury is my brother from another mother, and he has a studio in Mount Rainier, one of the preeminent art districts in Maryland. He has an event coming up, and I'd like him to take a moment to let everybody know what the event is.
Thank you, Kamon. Kamon and I have known each other for a long time through various projects, but I would say that we both are deeply involved in the community. We're based in Mount Rainier, right on 34th Street, in the Gateway Arts District. We started off some years ago with one studio, and we've been able to, over the past couple of years and some hard work, been able to pretty much get the block. We're totally independently funded. We are funded by these hands and shoulders, which means I make sure that the bills are paid. And that's not our goal, but right now that allows me to pretty much say what we want to do what we want. We focus on African cultural arts. So what we do is what we're doing, we believe is a big solution to the problem. Number one, it kept me out of a lot of trouble when I was young, but also we're not always fighting against something, we're also fighting for things. And one of the things that we're fighting for is control of our minds, control of popular media, and helping young folks think for themselves. So we do West African dance and drum and African cultural arts. It's very important for us to have a place that's clearly about black things from the outside in, and to be unapologetic in what we do and how we represent ourselves. We have an event coming up called Birthright. And Birthright really is about claiming your birthright. Sometimes there's so much struggle that we feel like we were born to struggle. And ideally, what we like to represent with Birthright is that that's not why we were born. And that we do all have a serious mission here. And a lot of times helping us to connect with that mission will also help us to connect with each other. Kimon and I may not see each other a whole lot, or we may not talk a whole lot. But 9 times out of 10, we're pretty much always doing some of the same things. And that's because I believe our birthrights are tied together. So I have some flyers, and what I'll do that I just decided is I'm going to give Kimon some tickets. And he can do what he wants with the tickets, but what I would like you to do is make a donation to We Act Radio, and if you make a donation to We Act Radio, he'll give you a ticket to the show. The show is ages 3 to adult, West African Dance and Drum. We'll be at G.W. Lisner Auditorium on August 20th. Starts at 6 o'clock. I will say that we are working on purchasing our building. And don't believe that gentrification only happens in the inner city, okay? Because Mount Rainier, the Gateway Arts District, is a serious place. We just got a new city manager who is off the chain, and I'm learning, even as somebody who went to school for public administration, I know how it works. So when they come in and start checking the code and see a piece of trash on the ground and write you a citation and do whatever they can do to kind of get you out, because I know where it's coming. Right, I'm not going to talk a whole lot, but if you see what happened with 8th Street, and if you see what happened at all the other places, the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments 20 years ago had a book on display in a study that they did that said Washington, D.C. 2020. They still have one that says Washington, D.C. 2050. And there aren't even any brown pictures of people in the book. You can go get it. I did my internship there at grad school. So the same way that development is moving through here is coming from University of Maryland down Rhode Island Avenue, Main Street, 34th Street, and everywhere. So we're fighting for the same thing, even though we're not right here, but we do have programs inside of a lot of the public charter schools teaching West African dance and drum. So appreciate the time, come on. I also just made myself a partner for the Black Love Fest. So we're going to help promote it, and if allowed, we'll bring our young people to perform.
All right, we need all the help we can get. We're on a personal note, Diallo 10 years ago, for those who knew me 10 years ago, with my brother Jamil Muhammad and many, many, many others, I was fortunate enough to produce a play called Prison Poetry. Prison Poetry was produced 10 years ago. It's sold out at the Lincoln Theater. Well, sold 910. No, I sold out Lincoln Theater. We sold out Lincoln Theater. That's right. We sold out Lincoln Theater with our play, Prison Poetry. 3 men from 3 different generations in the holding cell for one night that won the Larry Neal Award here from the D.C. Commission on Arts and Management. It was the highest literary award one can win. And it was basically made possible because of the community support. And had it not been for Diallo bringing a busload of kids and making sure that they purchased tickets, we would have had a few more empty seats. So I want to acknowledge my brother. Okay, I want to come to the stage. I got one person because I didn't want to mess her name up, and then we go to the video and then we can eat. Her name is Brandy Adams Pfeiffer. Is it Pfeiffer? She is the artist right here, and you can check these tables out here. She's doing a project that she's going to tell you more about, but real quick, it's called Blurring the Lines. So participants are encouraged to express their perspective by getting in touch with their emotional reactions about the Black Lives Matter movement and expressing it in their own way by using props, including signage, is encouraged. I cannot tell you how thrilled I was to see a white brother at a Black Lives Matter event with a sign that he obviously made himself that said, "White silence is violence." I had to go shake his hand, take his picture, and you know what he told me? He said, "I just wanted to do something." Put your hands together for this sister for doing something.
Thank you. I just wanted to talk very briefly about this very important project. And this project is important for a number of reasons. One, I think people sometimes underestimate the power of the arts to invoke change. It is a proven fact that the arts can help inspire collaboration, help get people on common ground about their perspectives, and build the economic power of communities and invoke change. And one of the reasons for that is that art, it really hits something deeper than the conscious level. If you remember the young woman that opened us up with that beautiful song, just think about how it got us all on one page and in accord and in tune with the purpose of this event. So that's what art does. And the other aspect that I'm trying to accomplish through this project is the power of social media to advance change in racial equality movements. There are studies out there that show that social media can increase participation in the movement. It can help create a collective voice in the movement and get people on one accord to advance some of the agendas that we need to advance legislatively and economically to advance change. So what I'm doing is a project that invokes collaboration between artist and subject. And what I am doing is asking for 20 volunteers to work with me to create self-portraits that depict how they feel about the Black Lives Matter movement. And what I'm doing is building a collective body of work that encompasses diverse voices, genders, races, ethnicities, to really bring attention to how people are impacted by police brutality and the experience that it is creating for them. And we, through this project, are going to use social media as a platform to get this art out there and inspire change. So I hope that you will participate. You can follow me on Instagram at badams77118. And if you would like to participate, let me know. I will set up a session to collaborate with you, and stop by the booth to see some of the pieces that have already come out of this project and to learn how you can participate. Thank you.
So while we're waiting for this video to get played, to take us home will be John Johnson, my brother from Anacostia Unmapped. Have y'all heard We Act Radio's production with WAMU and NPR Anacostia Unmapped? Yo, just it? That's it? All right, well, y'all need to check us out. I mean, like, for real, they was giving brothers 6 minutes on national radio. Y'all need to give it up. Produced right in our studio around the corner, Anacostia. You know, I got some hate email. Y'all should check it out. All right, so my brother John Johnson is going to close it out. John Johnson is the second best playwright in Washington, D.C.
Hello, everyone. Hello. So how many of you guys are familiar with Anacostia subway station? Okay, so today, on my way here, there was this beautiful woman. I mean, she was beautiful, and I can tell that her ancestors were beautiful because she shared their same DNA. I know this may sound shallow, but she had perfect DNA, and if you saw her, you watch her like CNN. So I had to get a little closer to make sure this is what I was seeing, this angel in the form of a human being. So I said, good morning. She said, hi. But as I examined her face further, I noticed she was wearing this thing called sadness. So I asked her what was wrong, and she said that she was mad, irate because her mate just dumped her, trashed her on Facebook, and said she was some garbage. Now, as a man, I was like, well, my name's Mr. Recycle Bin. But that would have been corny like ethanol, so I spit a poem, told her she was beautiful with my breath and all. She smiled and said that she grew up on this plantation called Berry Farms, had managed to acquire education and a job, and was trying to move her moms out of the hood. So I suggested she be in my play. I could play Gil Scott, and she could play Jill Scott, because poetry and music go together. 2 months later now, we go together. 1 year later, we planted seeds, yeah, we hold together. The seed became child, so we reaped and we sowed together. And now the fabric on that clothing hold together. See, the point of this story is that oftentimes one man's trash is another man's treasure. Thank you very much. Peace.
Round of applause. This is what happens when you give young people an opportunity. I tell my young people every summer that whenever they hear someone tell them, I'm sorry, you don't have any experience, that is a hustle. That is a hustle to excuse their unwillingness to give them the experience. Because as far as I know, there's only one way to gain experience, and that is to experience it. I tell them all, do you know how to fly a plane? No. Can you fly a plane? Yes. All I need to do is get the experience. When given an opportunity, people do great things. When denied opportunity, people do less than great things. It's simple math. Simple math. But this system will tell you that the people who are denied opportunities are somehow genetically predisposed to do less than great things, and those who have a silver spoon in their mouth or their ass are predisposed to do great things. We got to break that belief. That's a myth. We're all in this room together right now. And if we were in this room too long, without food, without water, without opportunity, we would be a little less than civilized. And then if enough time goes by and someone walked into this room with a pizza and some drink and think they're going to consume all of it by themselves, something might pop off in this room, right? Does that make us the criminal? Or did the conditions create that crime? That's what this is about. Equitable economic development is removing the conditions so that we all have opportunities to do great things. Simple math. Very simple math. It's time for us to eat. I want to thank everybody for coming out. I want to thank LISC for supporting us. I want to thank Scott Kratz for 11th Street Bridge Project, Stan Boshi for 4 points, and I would like to thank all of you, okay? If everyone can take out their NSA monitoring device, otherwise known as your cell phone, and please go to the Facebook page that you rarely visit called We Act Radio, We ACT Radio. Please like us now. Please, I'm serious, please do something. Pull out your NSA monitoring device. For those in the back, you cannot hear me, pull out your phones. Pass the word. Go to We Act Radio Facebook page. Okay, I understand that some of y'all might not have a Facebook page. I understand Twitter and Facebook are glorified advertising agencies, commodify the relationships, and monitor the flow of information. But how else can we keep up with our ex without having to call these people? All right. Pull out your phone, go to We Act Radio Facebook page. At the top of that page, you will see an article about equitable economic development, about the art project that we are working with. You can check that out. Scroll down from that one. The second post on that page is our fundraising link. Please donate what you can today, even if it's only $5. Please post it to your page and share it with someone else so they can do the same. That will help us. We cannot expect Walmart to support what we're doing. We cannot expect the city even to support what we're doing. That's why I'm very grateful for City First Bank and LISC for supporting the work that is happening in this community for cause of equitable economic development. Below that, once you have made a small donation to us or a large donation, below that you are able to vote for your choice of the contributors on behalf of the Black Lives Matter movement calls for social justice. You have to have a Gmail account to make that vote. Hopefully you have a Gmail account, but please visit that page and share both of those links with your network. On this table before we go, I hope everyone will peruse and take a few flyers with you so you can distribute to your network. And as you will see here, there are local, independent media outlets who have produced materials. Some of you walk past the materials on your way to get a Washington Post Express. Or maybe you don't even have to walk past it because someone puts a Washington Post Express in your hand. So you got to ask yourself, why are they putting this in my hand? This is what they want you to know. Why don't you look for some of the other stuff that we actually control the content of? Because until the Lions have their own historians that tells of the hunt, will continue to glorify the hunter. Who gets to tell the story? It's up to you to decide who is worth of your time, who's worthy of your money. And with that, I'm going to close out, but if I can get everyone to repeat after me. Our Douglas, the Lion of Anacostia. Every city should take a moment to look at itself as well as its history. The life of Frederick Douglass defines freedom as much as transformation. A man no longer a slave. Our city no longer defined by limitations, but instead of a glowing promise. There's a Douglas inside of all of us. We only need to find our personal North Star. The night sky reflecting the beauty of our being. E. Ethelbert Miller. June 2015. Courtesy of City First Bank of D.C. All right? Thank you. Now, I'm going to have to say it. I didn't see enough phones out. Free food, free drink. Please make a donation. Please share it with your network. Please pick up flyers. Please support these media outlets. Please support We Act Radio so we can better serve you. Please support the 11th Street Bridge Project. Please support developers like Stan Voce, who actually cares about his community. Also, support the vendors and the businesses in the Anacostia Arts Center. Visit this restaurant. Redefine what it is to be in Anacostia and east of the river.
It's been said that once a mind is exposed to new ideas, it never returns to its original condition. And I trust that the thoughts, vibrations, sound vibrations that you receive listening to Brother Chess will put you on a new path. It's also been said that the two most important days in a person's life are the day that they were born and the day they realize why they were born and act on that realization. Everybody is born to complete a mission that only they can complete. The only impossible mission is the mission that you don't complete. Every person has a mission to make that impossible mission. So we have to ask ourselves, what is our impossible mission? What message did the Creator put in us to message to others? As Brother Chess says, it ain't the messenger, it's the message. So are you in tune with the right message, your soul's true message? Are you here to add value to the lives you touch and to model for them how true people are supposed to live? Collectively, we are people, but individually, we are persons, bodies or temples through which sound vibration flows. Persons through sound vibration. Everything is vibration. Vibrations build, vibrations destroy, vibrations heal, vibrations kill. What vibrations are flowing to you and through you? What vibrations are you sending out into your space, shaping the thoughts and opinions about you even before you step into a room and open your mouth? Whose thoughts are you channeling? Do you even know your thoughts? Can you recognize your authentic voice? Or are you just the dummy that the ventriloquist is speaking through? So we have to know ourselves. We have to know that there is nothing new in the world except the history that we don't know. History, his story. We're taught his story, but they will never teach us about our story.